Good morning, viewers from Nigeria across Africa, here in the United States and around the world. My name is Smart Madu Ajaja. I'm the convener of Open Nigeria and Africa Unite and the anchor of Nigeria Now. Global Matters Arising. Good morning, Africa, and Reggae at its best on ONN. Welcome to yet another edition of Good Morning, Africa. Presenting is Smart Madu Ajaja. How are you all doing? Those waking up, good morning. Those going to sleep, I will say good evening, but I encourage you to wait for another 1 hour, if you may, to listen to this very important broadcast about Nigeria. Yes, the world is boiling everywhere from Iran to Israel and the surrounding neighbors. Yeah, everything is going on crazy everywhere. Well, we hope we find a lasting solution to this crisis so the world will be at peace. Well, it is about Nigeria this minute. And if you are joining us for the very first time, we welcome you and encourage you to subscribe to our channel. Yes, 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 our channel. Uh, all right. Okay. Yes. Today we are speaking about what is taking place, the escalating crisis in Nigeria. We don't know what. Remember, on the 25th of December, the United States took an action, bombing some terrorist targets in Nigeria, in Sokoto State, yeah, the headquarters of terrorism in Nigeria. And since then, there has been a lot going on. The killings has not abated. The terrorists are like upping their game, kidnapping innocent children from schools, kidnapping people from churches, kidnapping on the roads, raping women in the mosques, and the most recent one, the massacre of soldiers. So the country has not known any reprieve. And this calls for more action from those who truly love Nigeria, from inside Nigeria, Africa, and around the world, with a failed United Nations and a failed, totally failed African Union. So, what am I speaking about today? Is about the Fulani agenda, and I have a message for the Fulanis in Nigeria and Africa about what is taking place. Thank you, Brian Devan. Thank you very much. Much love from here. Thank you. I love you too. Valley Mills, thank you very much for joining. And if you are joining us for the first time, we welcome you from our hearts and love you. And if you have not subscribed to our channel, we encourage you to do so. And for our returning subscribers, we say thank you. and ways to support our mission, to help us expand our mission and reach more people, is include liking our broadcast, liking our channel, like liking what you are seeing right now, like this stream. Join our membership, to support us however you can, to help us expand our mission to reach more people globally, because what we are doing here is a global movement for peace, security, and justice. So we speak peace, and we don't know hate, we don't know mischief, we don't know bigotry, we don't know racism here. So we welcome all peoples from around the world. Yes, but we don't tolerate hate and racism and all those words that are insulting or to make another human being less than human. So we don't tolerate others. And you can send us, if you want to support us, you can send us super thanks, you can send us gifts, whatever way you can do to help support this mission. More importantly, we love you to like what we're doing. If you really truly like what we're doing from your heart of heart, and just put a like, finger on the like button, and then give us as many likes as possible. We can use them. And what does that do for us? It helps uh, evoke the feelings of the YouTube algorithm to recommend our channel to more people. And then you comment here. This is an interactive session. We want you to speak. We want you to hear from you, your feelings. If you know Nigeria very well, and if you have questions about Nigeria, we welcome you to ask. Nigeria is a multi-religious, multicultural country. Yeah, the largest African country, the most populous African country on the surface of this earth. Statistically, it is estimated that for every five black person, one in the world is a Nigerian. For every five black people, one is a Nigerian. So that tells you the size, population-wise, of Nigeria. So thank you very much. We have been having a lot of problems. The problem dates back from independence, ethnic rivalry, undue ethnic rivalry in a country that is supposed to be one, but of all, one ethnic group, a minority group in the country, led by its elites, have never allowed the country to be the type of country that other countries are of the world. So that is why we're now beginning to see the fingers, everything being written very clear that there is an agenda, sadly, by the elites or one group, the Fulani race in Nigeria. So the topic of this discussion is the global nature, the continental nature of the agenda. We're going to show you some statistics. We're going to show you some statements made by some people as much as we can during the next 1 hour to support what we are saying. The genocide that you hear about Nigeria is real. It's not anything made up. It's not us Nigerians now saying it. The world is getting involved. The United States knows about it. And that's the reason they are taking action. Yes. And what it is, the Fulani race is scattered around Central and West Africa for the most part of it. And they are nomads. They move from one place to the other. They don't have a country of their own. So from what the way it is, they move from one country to the other. They rear cattle. Some of them rear cattle. There are some who are settled in some places. So different types of Fulani. So I'm just trying to give you an overview. But they are driven by one thing. All right, and they are mostly Muslims. About how their Islam work is at variance with other people that we know are practicing Islam. They have a history of conquest, warlike, fight, fighting every time, everywhere they are. Sadly, sadly, it's sad to say this is conflict everywhere they are. as far as we know, in Africa is one conflict or the other. The struggle for power, the struggle for land, the struggle for economic resources. Yes, so now with things changing, and I'm lucky to have had the opportunity of traveling to a great number of countries around the world. I've seen how cattle breeding is done. Everywhere I've been, except in Africa, cattle are raised in the ranches, not on the streets, where they constitute a nuisance, as it is in Nigeria. So this practice dates back as only God knows. We are in the 21st century, and the cattle is still being grazed along the roads, highways, in the streets of Nigeria and allies around the place, and in the forests. And the traditional cattle herders that we know migrate from one place to the other are the Fulanis. I would think that in the 21st century, with the world changing and population growing, that they should be more settled. But no, they are resistant to the issue of settling. So that is one of the troubles we have in Nigeria. Now it has gotten so bad that they go into people's land, destroy their crops, destroy their property, and when those people raise fingers, they give them the bullet. Unfortunately, for some reasons, these people violate the laws of every country. If you understand what took place in Central African Republic, it's the same thing that is happening in Nigeria. Violence, violent takeover of people's land and property. Yes, sadly, this group of Fulanis are lawless. They don't respect the laws of any land where they are. How they acquire illegally illegally acquired firearms as sophisticated as AK-47 rocket propelled grenade that they carry across countries in West Africa is something that should evoke some kind of research. But no, nobody is doing that. Now the case with Nigeria is worse. These people have damaged millions of lives, massacred innocent people. The pattern is taken now is a pattern of genocide, but they don't want us to talk about it. How a minority is repressing over 250 million people in Nigeria, a diversity of 250 million people in Nigeria is one thing that we have not been able to understand. I give it to them. I don't know how they do it, but they are smart. They control the country's military, they control the economy, they control virtually everything. And this is a country that has some of the brightest minds in the world. And nobody can rein them in. Nobody can rein them in. They have a system that they started in 1804 with the conquest of the Hausa land through a jihad spearheaded by Osman Dan Fodio, the man from which they draw their inspiration. Yes, they conquered so many places down up to the middle bed where they were stopped. They conquered a Yoruba land called Ilorin, which is the present day Kwara State or capital of Kwara State. That was where the mission stopped at the time. But we have an understanding that they were told that it's a generational mission until they captured the last town or the last enclave, until they dipped their Quran inside the Atlantic Ocean. So it has been a generational thing. Every generation takes it further. And the way it looks, they have the country right now in East Jugula. And our country has become a lawless country. Our country has become a rudderless country. They determine who becomes head of state. They determine who becomes who. The current rogue Ahmed Tinubu, yes, it's clear, had a pact with them to continue the murderous policy that the last Fulani president, Muhammadu Buhari, left behind. And during the electioneering campaign, he vowed to continue with Buhari's policy or Buhari's policies. And then he's doing a great job at that. Innocent and defenseless Nigerians are being murdered mercilessly and indiscriminately. We have a government that cannot do anything. A government with all of its strategic positions occupied by Fulanis. I'm talking about the Ministry of Defense, the National Security Advisor, and many other strategic positions. Yes, so they cannot be challenged. They do as they wish. In 2015, during the presidential campaign, when Buhari became president, we have an understanding that they imported Fulanis from all over West Africa and beyond to come and help them ensure that Buhari became president. A kind of blackmail. That was when the violence started. It has just escalated to a point of a near no return. We then deployed in forests across our country, doing all kinds of mayhem, including but not limited to raping our women, kidnapping for ransom, robbing, killing Nigerians, and selling their body parts. And our armed forces or security forces cannot match them. It's like there is a deliberate policy for them not to confront them. Yes, in a country of 250 million people, sometimes when the local vigilantes arrest them, you will hear the police telling them that there's an order from above that demands that they be released. They will release them with their ammunitions and they go back doing this, continue to do the same thing. I come from a place far away from the north of Nigeria where over 100 persons have been kidnapped. And out of the 100 persons, we recorded 10 fatalities. The most painful one, one beheaded friend of mine. Yes, in his farm, defenseless, innocent, defenseless. He was beheaded. Then another couple were going to the farm. They were kidnapped. The wife was pregnant. She had the baby under duress, and they threw her baby to their dogs. Their dogs ate it. The police command in my home state did absolutely nothing. Nobody was apprehended. And of all that have been taking place in Nigeria, nobody has been held accountable. It is only when some people like me stand up and ask questions that is where the state apparatus will wake up to want to do the job. You hear about Nnamdi Kanu, a man who raised his finger like I'm raising today. Yes, over this same issue, he was sentenced to a life in jail, serving now. You know where they took him? They took him to the hub, Sokoto, the headquarters of terrorism in Nigeria that we must dismantle now. Yeah, that is the injustice. So the continental nature of their onslaught in Nigeria is real. It's well orchestrated. There's a global Fulani network that wants a land for the Fulanis. They have chosen Nigeria as the place that they must take by force, not by negotiation. Before I continue, listen to this from a state governor in Bauchi State who is Fulani. So hear for yourself so you can understand better what I am explaining. The arrogance, how they think, what drives their process. They have no respect for borders, they have no respect for boundaries. Here, a governor told us that the Fulanis are global citizens. They don't need borders. They can be citizens of any country. So why do I have to carry a passport to come to the United States? All right. So they enjoy the citizenship of everywhere, which I don't have any problem with if they were law abiding, if they respected their hosts, if they respected the rules guiding grazing in the 21st century. Who cares? But we now care because the lives of our people are being lost indiscriminately. Every day, it gets worse, and it appears that nothing can be done. Now, take a listen so you see what I'm talking about.
Back to Sunrise Daily. Well, yes, we do have Mr. Bala Mohammed, the governor of Bauchi State. Thank you for coming on this morning, Excellency.
Thank you.
Well, let's start off with this national livestock transformation. We understand, yes, NEC decided upon it. They came to that decision. They agreed among themselves the modalities, how it needs to work. But help us understand this. First of all, has your state, you're not one of the pilot states, are you?
No, we are not one of the pilots, but having seen that we are in that part of the savannah and in Nigeria, and of course we have most of the pastoralists in our state, we indicated our intention or our interest in the program because we believe some of the mistrust and suspicion surrounding the very nice program could be assuaged. And of course, we will participate in a manner that will bring the best in terms of global best practice. We are engaging the Netherlands and other countries to come and help us do this in a manner that at least it will boost our economy. We have so many reserve land and we have so many forests that are not being used. Some of them are even being used by criminals, hooligans, and charlatans, where some aspect of criminality has been provided by that forest that is called Lamebora Forest and the Yankari precincts. So outside the agitation or advocacy of the environmentalists and those that are more concerned with the fauna and flora, we'll be able to provide a salutary effect to the country because we have over 3,000 square kilometers of land that is in the savannah, in a lush vegetation that can be used for this kind of program, even to serve the nation. And while we are doing it as the federal government has conceived it, we want it to be private sector driven and we will bring those who are more familiar with it.
Okay, if you say, because I mean, everybody we want to see that these killings end and there's peace and then people go about their businesses peacefully. Everybody wants to see that. But when you say that you want it to be private sector led, we understand that the government is going to provide 80% of the funding, the state to provide 20%, and then provide the land.
Yeah.
How is that going to be private sector led?
The government have not released any cover for that purpose up to this moment, but we don't know since we have not been admitted into the program. But certainly we have been working very hard to see that because our people are mostly transhumans and that we have this vision to create an economic nucleus around livestock. And of course, it was all the value chain that you can get around livestock, the blood, the horn, the skin. And of course, we will try more to cultivate that culture in our people, while at the same time bringing the Fulanis in one fold and try to arrest their traditional practice of moving from one place to the other. And that is very big, an uphill task. But I think we can communicate with them more because to them they don't have borders from Cameroon to Nigeria.
But that's the thing, Excellency. How do we ensure that those who will be participating in this federal government largely funded program will be Nigerians?
In terms of the funding?
No, in terms of the operations. Operations. You said to bring in the Fulanis together. We have Fulanese from other
the
countries as
issue
well.
of misconception, I think there is a lot of mistrust and misconception with regards to the Fulani man. The Fulani man is a global or an African person.
Global
He moves
African
from the
person.
Gambia, from Senegal, and his nationality is just a Fulani man. And as a person, I may have my relations in the Cameroon, but they are also Fulani men. I have relations because from the maternal side, I'm a Fulani man. And that is why we want to educate people. A Fulani man sees himself as a Bayelsan, as somebody coming from the Niger Delta, because he speaks the Niger Delta language, which you and I don't. And of course, we would have to just take this as part of our own heritage, something that is African,
See how
and
they
that we
think.
cannot just close the border and say the Fulani man is just a Nigerian or this. No. In most cases, the crises are precipitated by those outside Nigeria. When there is a reprisal, it is not the Fulani man within Nigeria that causes it. It is that culture of getting revenge, which is embedded
They have a
in
culture
the tradition of the Fulani man,
or
that
culture of
attracts
violence
reprisal
embedded
from
in
all
their
over
tradition.
If I
world.
understand, does that mean that those
So they can
Fulani
go
men who
anywhere and do
are
whatever they like.
maybe domiciled in other countries who move around, they can come into the country and this plan will accommodate them as well?
Yes, that's what we want to do. But it has to be done through sensitization.
See the
Telling
agenda.
them you have to buy in the project. And you use the language, the culture itself to be able to convince them. Away from the
Have
mistrust
to
where
convince
the
them.
whole system of transhumance or pastoralism is criminalized. Criminalization of pastoralism is the problem that we have with this project, and it requires people with passion who understand them and who they believe in. People like us from that part of the country to say yes, we have this, because today there is no limit to the accusation that this and that has happened and it is the Fulani man who caused it. There is no tribe that is not that we don't have this criminality in, but certainly the way and manner we do it is really excavating the crisis and the problems.
Will there be any form of documentation of all the people that will be, will
Yes,
be
we are
resident within that?
Oh, yes, that is going to give Nigeria the opportunity to really have the best in terms of documentation in the demographics. Because, as I said, a Fulani man settles anywhere he can feed his cattle. And so, if they are put in one place and they are made to understand that this is to save them and their animals, they are exposed to the vagaries of the forest and what is going on, cattle rustling, killings, and what have you. And that's why it is important for them to understand that staying in one place is good. And of course, in terms of the best practice, carrying the cows and the
Let's stay with that security angle for a bit. Is there going to be is the this plan to be a fenced enclosure where anyone who comes in is secured, so there is no one that can just come in from anywhere else?
No. It is going to be a colony, and a colony does not require a fence.
You will
It is not
understand
going
the
to be a
reason.
prison.
You will understand the reason why people are concerned because of all the security issues that have been happening over time. So if that
These forests are there anyway. If you don't occupy them and create a colony out of them, they create places for the criminals. And today, that's why you have the Zambeza forest, because it is not being utilized.
But Your Excellency, much as yes, I mean,
Wow.
they're fantastic. We have met a lot of them who are Fulanese as well. But the concern too is why should federal government use resources for this country to accommodate Fulani men who are not Nigerians?
You see, as I said, we are already accommodating them. Do you delineate and then really know who is not a Fulani man from Nigeria? They are all Nigerians because I said their identity, their own citizenship is Nigerian, even though we have relations all over the world, all over Africa.
Wow.
And so presumably they are Nigerians.
Wow.
I think you get me.
You
That
hear them,
is
right?
the misunderstanding. They move from one place to the other and they have relations, kids and kins in all the parts of the country and even outside the country. So that's why our own population is fluid. You can certainly not. This is the population of Nigeria.
So these issues these same issues were raised in NEC. And NEC admitted and accommodated all concerns and said, yes, we will do this.
All these issues, there were some, you see, when decisions are taken, you don't give a dissenting view. It is a decision that it should be done, and state will look at its peculiarities and what it wishes. For some of us, we think it's a very good thing. We can even say we will accommodate all the Fulanis in Bauchi if you want, and then we'll be taking their meat and their products to you, and then we'll make a lot of money.
Okay, so you have 100 days.
Yes, but
Time is flying.
no. Let's just transit, maybe a little smoothly. How will this plan help the Bauchi meat factory?
Thank you very much. We have a Baltimore factory that has become comatose. We had stores and we have facilities all over the country to Lagos and Port Harcourt, but it was abandoned. And we believe we have ranches that were owned by the government. That's why I said the private sector must come. And then, of course, all the facilities, water, and the new grass that we are trying to develop using the Chinese technology that it doesn't die and then it boosts the protein content of the animals. So we believe both pork meat factory can serve the protein needs of the country by really preparing the meat and all the T-bones and whatever steak and that we can send to the hotels and so on and so forth. And then, of course, the animals are there. The Fulani man will know that he's getting value for money for his products. The only problem is the issue of making sure there is grass. Once the place dries in during the dry season, they will move. And that's why the issue of grassing and the rest comes in, and we need technology to do that.
Okay, we need to go to break now. So we'll come back and delve into governance in Bauchi State. That will be in a moment. Stay with us.
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44, a complete AI creation platform. Describe what you want and watch it take shape.
Makarahuta is one out of many communities in Bauchi State that host internally displaced persons, and these IDPs have since integrated with residents. The Northeast Development Commission, led by its chairman, retired Major General Paul Tarafa, is meeting with the IDPs to know their plights and what their immediate needs are.
We want the government to provide a skills acquisition center for us and teach us vocations that will make us self-reliant.
Bauchi State boasts of being the safest in the Northeast region, and as a result, it provides a safe haven for IDPs.
Now, why do we have IDPs? Yes, listeners, you heard a Fulani man speak. If you are a Nigerian, you will understand the mentality, and this is generally how they reason. They reason and put their reasoning to the people of Nigeria to accept as if it is a rule. And this is how the country has been run. Out of 13 leaders of Nigeria, 10 are either directly or some remotely connected to the Fulanis. And they have led the country with this type of mindset, not understanding that the country is a diversity of people. Their other people's opinion doesn't count as far as they are concerned. And these elements are from a minority in the country. Their population in Nigeria is not up to 7 million people. This is apartheid. And you heard it from his mouth. It is a global agenda. So if Fulani from anybody, anywhere, he said their population is fluid. So a Fulani from Zambia can come from Zambia into Africa, into Nigeria, and expressly becomes a Nigerian without documentation, without following through any immigration policy of Nigeria. And they are the only ones doing that. Ghanaians cannot come into Nigeria and be Nigerian that way. Burkina cannot come into Nigeria and be Nigerians that way. Ivorians cannot come from Ivory Coast, where the tribal people from Ivory Coast cannot come. The tribal people from Liberia, like the Mandingos, cannot come into Nigeria and automatically and expressly become Nigerians. Only Fulanis can come from wherever they come from Cameroon, from Mali, from Mauritania, from Central African Republic, and come, and they are Nigerians. And Nigerian resources are deployed for their own good. The people of the world, the people of Africa, the people of especially Nigerians. Is this fair? Why should it be this way? I am a Pan-Africanist. I want all the borders melted so that every African can move and be as free as the Fulanis move everywhere. Yes, so that maybe perhaps we end all this. And then we develop an internal mechanism for dealing decisively with insecurity in the continent, and not from what we are doing from majorly fake countries scattered across Africa. I think this is one way we can address the internal conflicts in Africa, especially Nigeria, that is becoming uh, a battleground right now. Yes, if care is not taken, the country will go up in flames. We will repeat exactly the same thing that happened in Rwanda, Liberia, Sierra Leone, and then the thing that took place between 1967 and 1970 in Nigeria. Yes, so we cannot keep on doing this in Nigeria and expect Nigeria to be such a great country. These are people who come, the elites from that race are the ones who come with these obnoxious Sharia policies. They want to impose Sharia on Nigeria, as barbaric as it is. Their brand of Islam is different from what the others practice. Violence, economics, politics. Yes. Denial of access to opportunities to those around them. They emasculate people. It doesn't take a while. All the state governors in the core north of Nigeria are all Fulanis. But in that zone is where over 90% of the poor people in Nigeria come from. They are not accountable to anybody. They created this schism they call North and South. But when you look at what they call North, you see who the leaders of the North are. They are Fulanis. And they are a minority in the north of Nigeria. How they emasculated all the other tribal tribes in the north is another question. You don't hear those. But this minority will come. Elites from this minority group will come and they speak. If there are 5 of them, they will speak and issue statements on behalf of the North that should not even exist in a supposed one country. The North is spoken. During election times, we hear the North, how the North, how the North. I begin to ask this question: where is this North? Where is this North? The North that has no leadership from the Baron tribe represented. The North that does not have the leadership of the groups in the north of Nigeria represented. The North does not have a Gala, no Nupe, no Idoma, no Angas, no Jukun represented. When you see the gathering of the leaders of the North, all you see is Fulanis. is apartheid. It is apartheid. They caged Nigeria and Nigerians. They deploy violence as a tool to blackmail the people. They scare the shit out of the people of Nigeria. That Nigerians are scared of raising their fingers. To become a president of Nigeria, you have to go and sign a document with the Fulanis, Fulani elites. That is what Bola Ahmed Tinubu did. And that is why Nigeria is the way it is. That is why they will go to schools and massacre everybody in there. That's why they go to elementary school and cut all the children away. He cannot stand up to them because he's compromised. He's an accessory to evil. He's an accessory to terrorism. He's an accessory to banditry. He's an accessory to the rape of our women and the destruction of our children. It's an accessory to the arrest of growth and development of Nigeria. And this is why Nigerians must ask themselves questions. Why do we exist? Why should a minority be controlling and directing our country's destiny? Yes, it's a moment for Nigerians to question themselves. Have you been sitting on the fence? Have you been a beneficiary who gets your own thing and look away as if it's not your problem? Now, did you ever think that the insecurity in Nigeria was going to escalate or go beyond the Borno state? You see how far it is spreading? The whole of Zamfara, Kebbi, Yobe, Plateau, Benue, Kwara, Kogi, yes, down to Edo now, my home state of Delta, Igbo land, Southeast, Rivers, Bayelsa, yes, they are everywhere. So what news do you want to hear? What is going to wake you up to say we got to have our country back? Is it fear? Now it is time for those of you who claim that you are Southerners. I know that there is nothing like South. It doesn't exist. It's time to question yourself, especially the young people from that south of Nigeria. Question yourself the type of leadership you put forward that cannot combat these criminals, these thugs, mostly Fulani thugs, that run the north of Nigeria. They come to the National Assembly and decide the fate of Nigeria. If they go to the National Assembly, you got them young people from the south of Nigeria. Now it's a question for, and the crazy politicians from the south of Nigeria. This is a question for you. You are in the National Assembly with them. You are in the Senate with them. You are in the Federal Executive Council with them. They make decisions. A minority makes a decision, make decisions for you. And you go back home like a chicken beaten by rain. And then be asking for more opportunity to return to that place. What have you done with your time? So this is a question that all of us must address. It's a question. If they bring their thugs, why can't you send your thugs there? So when thugs and thugs meet, then maybe perhaps whoever survives will make some adjustments. But I tell the Fulani elites whose mission is to destroy Nigeria, weaken Nigeria, to overrun and Islamize it. Your Islam is fake for the most part of it. You are not true Muslims. True Muslims don't rape women in the mosque. You are destroying Muslims. You are destroying Nigerians. You are destroying what is supposed to be fellow Muslims, which gives credence that you are not Muslims. Your time is up. Remember what happened in Central African Republic. Remember all that you are doing in Nigeria, you did there until the owners of the country decided that they have had enough. They were ready to die to recover their country. And they did. Nigeria is Africa's melting pot. We didn't mind that all Africans should come into Nigeria because the indigenous people of Nigeria are welcoming. They don't discriminate on account of religion. They don't discriminate on account of where you come from. They don't discriminate on account of what you speak. They don't discriminate on account of how you dress. But they will discriminate now on account of the threat you represent to their country. That is why people are rebelling now. That is why the Hausa people are rising up. The Hausa people that your ancestors came and seized their land, destroyed their kings, installed their own emirs. I tell you this, wake up if you are sleeping, because Nigerians will rise up and take their country, and nobody will stop them when they are ready. The AK-47 you have today will not solve it. The rocket-propelled grenade you got from France and other countries that support evil for economic benefits in Nigeria will not save you. Remember Rwanda. Remember Rwanda. Remember Rwanda. We don't want it to happen in Nigeria. Please advise yourselves. Withdraw your militias from our forests. We can accommodate you if you live by the rules and abide by the Constitution of Nigeria. You will have peace. But there will be no Islamization of Nigeria. I tell you that. Nigeria will not be Islamized. You will not force your ways on us. We are going to resist. And as you can see, the resistance has started. And it's going to be more. It's going to be incremental. The world is now interested in Nigeria. Look at what is taking place in Iran right now. It can come to Nigeria. Yes, don't think it is impossible. You have beaten us for far too long. It's time for us to fight back. When you are doing all these things, you must look back. I don't know if you are a people who have no conscience. You must look back at your own children who are defenseless. Your women who are poor and defenseless, innocent. Your greed should not consume them. Yes, you say you are unforgiving, like Mr. Bala said. There's nobody that does not have that precursor of violence. Some people choose to be civil. That is why it looks like they are scared. But there's a limit to which we push them. The beasts in them will come out. This is what you Fulanis must understand. That the time has come where people will not be scared anymore. They will fight back because their lives are involved. They will fight back because their children's lives are involved. They will fight back because their land and customs and traditions are involved. They will fight back because of their future. They will fight back because of the future of their country. Dear Fulanis, they say you are unforgiven. You must learn to forgive now. if anybody erred against you, but nobody has erred against you. You have always been the one who do not respect boundaries, who do not respect rules, who do not respect the sovereignty and the territorial integrity of Nigeria, who do not want to work with the people of Nigeria. You want always to be the lead, even with all the incompetence that is associated with your leadership of Nigeria. You wreck the country. You wreck the country. For 65 years, you stayed in the way of growth and development of Nigeria. You stayed in the way of progress and prosperity of Nigeria. Every opportunity you had to lead Nigeria, you ruined the country. You wrecked the budget. You destroyed the treasury. You destroyed the economy. Malami, where is he from? It's Fulani. Buhari, who is he? Fulani. Hadi Srika, who is he? Fulani. Yusuf Bichi. The list goes on and on and on. Atiku Abubakar, the opportunity he had, he destroyed, he wrecked everything. It's all about, there's nothing that you need to tell us. Rufai, so much is being traced to him now. Who has been running his mouth? It's time you guys go back and do some introspection. Why is it that you cannot live peaceably with your neighbors? In Central African Republic, you were forced out of the country because you wouldn't respect the laws. You wouldn't respect the constitution of the country. You were loading it on them. They had to evict you. Nigeria can do the same thing. With all the push you are giving to them, they can rise up. Your agenda in Nigeria will not work because you are meeting a generation of resistant people who will not allow it to work. You are not meeting the usual cowards who will collect money from you and go back. No. The people are becoming increasingly aware now. If you are listening to what has been taking place, if you are listening to conversations in various circles in Nigeria, you will understand, you would have heard how tired the people of Nigeria are about the Fulanis, the Fulani elites. Yes, you are endangering your population with your bad attitude. Satan of Sokoto had the audacity to want to talk about imposing Sharia on a secular Nigeria. Who the hell are you? You are not even a traditional ruler. You are not an African. You have a black skin, but your mind is not African. We are all talking about unifying Africa. They don't talk about that because it doesn't make sense to them. Yes, global people, we are Africans. We want an Africa that will work for the people of Africa. And if you don't want to be African, you want to be Arabs, you can move to Yemen, move to Saudi Arabia, move to Oman, where you'll be tolerated because you share a lot with them. Yes, so you cannot be of a black skin and you have an Arab mind and be in the continent of Africa. No, we don't share anything in common with you. You hate us. You hate Nigeria. If you love Nigeria, you won't wreck it the way you have wrecked it with the opportunities you have had, mostly inordinate opportunities. You destroyed the country. Your mission is to take Nigeria because Nigeria is so strategic to your continental agenda. That is why you are unleashing in Nigeria. Once Nigeria comes into your pocket, Ghana will be overrun. Ivory Coast will be overrun. Burkina Faso will be overrun. And they will be prepared to take over Africa for what you want. But we will not let it happen. So get it in your heads now. Fulani elites, get it in your heads that this agenda, swallow it. It ended with Osman Danfodio. It's not going to continue in this generation. We will raise an army of resistance. Yes, from across Nigeria. Yes, the Hausa people are rebelling. They are rearing to go. How are you going to handle the multitude of Nigerians who will be resisting you? So you go back. You say those people, you have to convince them. They are your Fulani people. They are in the bush. Who is living in the bush in the 21st century? How is it that they can't live with people? They can't integrate with the people. Why do they have to live in the bush? If you Fulani elites who live in criminal opulence with houses in Saudi Arabia, houses in America, houses in UK and other parts of Europe, but you keep your people in the bush. You arm them and put them in the bush, and then you come on national television to be making cases for them. You are sick. And this is where the resistance is going to come from. If the Fulanis that you repress, those you put inside the bush, cannot question you, cannot rise up against you, cannot ask you questions about why you live in opulence, but they and their children are in the forest because that's what you love. You give them AK-47 to be harassing Nigerians. The end is here. Your agenda will be resisted and defeated. Yes, this is the extent. You come with religion, even when you are hypocrites. You chop off people's hands. Your Sharia is a weapon against the Hausa majority, most of whom are poor because they want to raise their fingers. That's why you're pushing the Sharia to silence them. The Sharia will not work. I'm sure you are hearing how the Hausa people are even resisting Sharia, even if they are Muslims, because they know that it's a weapon against them, weapon of mass destruction. How hypocritical you are. You want Sharia, all right? You say you love Sharia, but when you have a case, you want your case to be tried using the conventional law. You are bigots, you are hypocrites, and you are blasphemers, and you deserve what? Stones. Yes. Just like you stoned the innocent Deborah Yakubu for doing nothing. But you are the worst bigots, you are the worst hypocrites, you are the most corrupt people. Look at what you did to Nigeria. Why are you not tired? Why do you think that all of us will be fools and will continue to line behind your stupidity? Nigerians are telling you it's over. And to Nigerians generally, you have seen, especially Nigerians from other parts of Nigeria. Now you can see the importance of choosing good leaders. You can see the consequences of selling your votes. When you sell your votes to idiots like Odious or Carlo, you sell your vote to people like Uzodin Mahob and all those crazy politicians. You sell your vote to Bola Ahmed Tinubu. You sell your vote to Abiodun Dakbo. You sell your vote to all the senators and members of House of Representatives from across Nigeria that are non-Fulanis. You see how your stupidity led us where we are. Because they are not true leaders. They are not leaders who care about you. They are not leaders who care about their constituency. They are not leaders who care about Nigeria. If they cared about Nigeria, they won't allow any of all these things happen. Never. So we have been electing criminals. We have been electing our worst. Can you imagine Nigeria with some of the brightest minds on earth having idiots across the board as leaders. What do you expect? This is what we get. Lawlessness, pillaging and plundering of your economy, terrorists taking over your country, and everybody is scared of rising up. These monsters must be defeated. And to defeat them, we must be ready to confront them in all areas and on all fronts. If we don't do this, the Almighty God will not forgive us. Our children today who are growing up will not forgive us. Unborn generations of Nigerians will not forgive us for giving up their country before they were born and for abdicating our responsibilities to them. This fight is for us in this generation, and we must not run away from it. We must win it for Nigeria. We must win it for the people of Nigeria today and the people of Nigeria deep into the future. Thank you very much for listening. Again, if you joined us for the very first time here, we thank you. We welcome you to ONN. Our channel is a global movement for peace through justice, and that is what we represent in all ramifications. We cannot be sold or bought. Truth, and absolutely the truth, is what drives everything we do here. Thank you, and I hope you had a good time being here. Let us continue this conversation. Drop your comments in the comment section, and we'll respond to all your questions. You don't have to essentially agree with everything that we said, but we can discuss on every issue that we raise, and maybe perhaps find a common ground. Or maybe you may be able to convince us beyond reasonable doubt. Or we have the superior argument that will lighten your mind to start thinking alternatively. Good morning, and bye for now.